After my first article on the kicking techniques of Pankration, I now have a second publication with the International Journal of the History of Sport. This study is called On the Hand Strike Techniques of Ancient Hellenic Boxing and Pankration, and it has a couple of firsts. It is the first large-scale pottery analysis in any published study of ancient Hellenic combat sports, and it is the first article to include a full terminological breakdown of all hand strike techniques of ancient Greek boxing and Pankration. The pottery analysis was a particularly lengthy process in which I scoured through tens if not hundreds of thousands of pottery depictions looking for images that display hand strikes, particularly in the context of athletic competition. I ended up with a sample of 140 vases, ranging from 600 to 300 BCE, depicting 218 instances of hand strikes separated into 8 different hand strike techniques, but interpreting the paintings would pose a significant challenge. In order to minimize bias, I had to create a set of rules of interpretation that would be consistent throughout all depictions. As you can imagine, this was a lengthy and difficult process. Each time I thought I had the rules down, I found one example in which they weren't consistent and had to start all over again, and this happened several times. But I was able to establish a consistent set of rules, and with that, I measured the instances of appearance of hand strike techniques. I also marked each time they were defended against, countered or landed, whether the fighters were open hand or glove, and I even counted the orientation of the stance of each combatant between orthodox and southpaw. The findings here were surprising because there are both a lot of unique elements I was able to find for both boxing and Pankration, but on the other hand there are a lot of commonalities with combat sports of today. Then I also looked through ancient texts to find the corresponding terminology for the techniques depicted on the vases. This includes a total of 14 terms, again put together for the first time, at least post-antiquity, for this study. I used the same linguistic approach with the kicks article, and luckily I was able to find most, if not all, of the terms for each technique. Finally, I had to create a rebuttal for previous studies on the topic, particularly for boxing and its rule set. Of course, the findings of the article itself contradict modern studies that make Pankration out to be a blood sport, claiming it didn't have any rules, so in essence, the entire study can be classified as a rebuttal as well. This is an over 8,500 word manuscript with a lot of information. I only have 2 regrets. One is that I couldn't use any pictures in it because I didn't have the means to pay the absurd demands of museums that want copyright money for 2,500-year-old art that they had no role in creating, but that's a different story. The second regret is that I couldn't make the article open access because that would also require a significant investment, which I did not have. Remember guys, I do not make anything from the sales of this article, nor am I responsible for its price. I'd rather be able to give it to everyone for free. But I do have a limited number of links to a free version which I will post on Patreon as a thank you to those who support me or would like to support me. The goal now is to write a book on the topic, for which I do have a contract with an academic publisher, but I couldn't tell you when it would be ready because I have to fund that myself as well. Appreciate you guys for sticking around throughout the years and hope you enjoy this study. Till next time, cheers.